2 Samuel chapter 1 from verse 1. After the death of Saul, when David had returned from the slaughter of the Amalekites, David remained 2 days in Ziklag. 2. And on the third day, behold, a man came from Saul's camp, with his clothes rent and earth upon his head. And when he came to David, he fell to the ground and did obeisance. 3. David said to him, Where do you come from? And he said to him, I have escaped from the camp of Israel. And David said to him, How did it go? Tell me. He answered, The people have fled from the battle, and many of the people also are fallen and are dead. And Saul and his son Jonathan are also dead. Then David said to the young man who told him, How do you know that Saul and his son Jonathan are dead? And the young man who told him said, By chance, I happened to be on Mount Gilboa, and there was Saul leaning upon his spear, and lo, the chariots and horsemen were close upon him. And when he looked behind him, he saw me, and he called to me, and I answered, Here I am. And he said to me, Who are you? I answered him, I am an Amalekite. Then he said to me, Stand beside me and slay me, for anguish has seized me, and yet my life still lingers. So I stood beside him and slew him, because I was sure that he could not live after he had fallen. And I took the crown which was on his head, and the armlet which was on his arm, and I brought them here to my Lord. Then David took hold of his clothes and rent them, and so did all the men who were with him. And they mourned and wept and fasted until evening, for Saul, and for Jonathan his son, and for the people of the Lord, and for the house of Israel, because they had fallen by the sword. 13. And David said to the young man who told him, Where do you come from? And he answered, I am the son of a sojourner, an Amalekite. Verse 14. Then David said to him, How is it you are not afraid to put forth your hand to destroy the Lord's anointed? 15. Then David called one of his young men and said, Go, fall upon him. And he smote him so that he died. 16. Then David said to him, Your blood be upon your head, for your own mouth has testified against you, saying, I have slain the Lord's anointed. 17. And David lamented with this lamentation over Saul and Jonathan his son. 18. And he said it should be taught to the people of Judah. Behold, it is written in the book of Jasher. He said, Thy glory, O Israel, is laid upon the high places. How are the mighty fallen? 20. Tell it not in Gath. Publish it not in the street of Ashkelon. Let the daughters of the Philistines rejoice. Let the daughters of the uncircumcised exult. 21. Ye mountains of Gilboa, let there be no dew or rain upon you, nor upsurging of the deep. For there the shield of the mighty was defiled, the shield of Saul not anointed with oil. 22. From the blood of the slain, from the fat of the mighty, the bow of Jonathan turned no back, and the sword of Saul returned not empty. 23. Saul and Jonathan, beloved and lovely, in life and in death they were not divided. They were swifter than eagles, they were stronger than lions. 24. Ye daughters of Israel, weep over Saul, who clothed you daintily with scarlets, who put ornaments of gold upon your apparel. 25. How are the mighty fallen in the midst of battle? Jonathan lies slain upon the high places. 26. I am distressed for you, my brother Jonathan. Very pleasant have you been to me. Your love to me was wonderful, passing the love of women. 27, the last verse. How are the mighty fallen, and the weapons of war perished? 2 Samuel chapter 2 verse 1. After this, David inquired of the Lord, Shall I go up into any of the cities of Judah? And the Lord says to him, Go up. David said, To which shall I go up? And he said, To Hebron. 2. So David went up there, and his two wives also, Ahinoam of Jezreel, and Abigail, the widow of Nabal of Carmel. 3. And David brought up his men with him, everyone with his household, and they dwelt in the towns of Hebron. 4. And the men of Judah came, and there they anointed David king over the house of Judah. When they told David, it was the men of Jabesh Gilead who buried Saul. 5. David sent messengers to the men of Jabesh Gilead and said to them, May you be blessed by the Lord, because you have shown loyalty to Saul your Lord and buried him. 6. Now, may the Lord show steadfast love and faithfulness to you, and I will do good to you, because you have done this thing. 7. Now therefore, let your hands be strong and be valiant, for Saul your Lord is dead, and the house of Judah have anointed me king over them. 8. Now Abner, the son of Ner, commander of Saul's army, had taken Ishbosheth, son of Saul, and brought him over to Mahanaim. 9. And he made him king over Gilead and the Ashurites and Jezreel and Ephraim and Benjamin and all Israel. 10. Ishbosheth, Saul's son, was 40 years old when he began to reign over the house of Israel, and he reigned 2 years. But the house of Judah followed David. 11. And the time that David was king in Hebron over the house of Judah was 7 years and 6 months. Verse 12. Abner, the son of Ner, and the servants of Ishbosheth, the son of Saul, went out from Mahanaim to Gibeon. 13. And Joab, the son of Zeruiah, and the servants of David, went out and met them at the pool of Gibeon, and they sat down, the one on the one side of the pool, and the other on the other side of the pool. 14. And Abner said to Joab, let the young men arise and play before us. And Joab said, let them arise. 15. Then they arose and passed over by number, 12 for Benjamin, and Ishbosheth the son of Saul, and 12 of the servants of David. 16. And each caught his opponent by the head, and thrust the sword into his side, so they fell down together. Therefore the name of that place is called Ekat Azurim, which is at Gibeon. 17. And the battle was very fierce that day, and Abner and the men of Israel were beaten before the servants of David. 18. And the three sons of Zeruiah were there, Joab, Abishai, and Asahel. Now Asahel was as swift of foot as a wild gazelle. 19. And Asahel pursued Abner, and as he went, he turned neither to the right hand nor to the left from following Abner. 20. Then Abner looked behind him and said, is it you, Asahel? And he answered, it is I. 21. Abner said to him, turn aside to your right hand or to your left, and seize one of the young men, and take his spoil. But Asahel would not turn aside from following him. 22. And Abner said to Asahel, turn aside from following me. Why should I smite you to the ground? How then could I lift up my face to your brother Joab? 23. But he refused to turn aside. Therefore Abner smote him in the belly with the butt of the spear, so that the spear came out at his back, and he fell there and died where he was. And all who came to the place where Asahel had fallen and had died stood still. 24. But Joab and Abishai pursued Abner, and as the sun was going down, they came to the hill of Ammah, which lies before Giah, on the way to the wilderness of Gibeon. 25. And the Benjamites gathered themselves together behind Abner, and became one band, and took their stand on the top of a hill. 26. Then Abner called to Joab, shall the sword devour forever? Do you not know that the end will be bitter? How long will it be before you bid your people turn from the pursuit of their brethren? 27. And Joab said, as God lives, if you had not spoken, surely the men would have given up the pursuit of their brethren in the morning. And so Joab blew the trumpet, and all the people stopped and pursued Israel no more, nor did they fight anymore. 29. And Abner and his men went all that night through the Arabah. They crossed the Jordan, and marching the whole forenoon, they came to Mahanaim. 30. Joab returned from the pursuit of Abner, and when he gathered all the people together, they were meeting of David's servants, 19 men beside Asahel. Verse 31. But the servant of David had slain of Benjamin 360 of Abner's men. 32, the last verse. And they took up Asahel and buried him in the tomb of his father, which is at Bethlehem. And Joab and his men marched all that night, and the day broke upon them at Hebron.
God bless you. Amen.